Today I first briefly fell asleep from, I believe, 3 in the morning to, believe, roughly 4:45 in the morning. And I ended up staying awake until I believe it was roughly 6:45 p.m. Between the big waking period, I made 2 reef styrofoam drawings out of the 2 I made these reef styrofoam drawings out of those 2 circular pieces I found in the basement the other day. And in general, I went with somewhat traditional reef designs, or what I felt were traditional reef designs. That consisted of a ribbon in the top middle to bottom middle on the sides, pine cones, and colored circles. That I think represent berries in the first one, and little ornaments you would typically put on a Christmas tree for the second one. Due to the size difference. This is how my city looks currently on Elvenar. I made a custom character on Vion Studio in an effort to cover up those generic people props they have in the background of the emergency waiting room template. But it wasn't 100% successful, so I'm currently thinking of going back to my initial plan of covering those generic background people without faces with a styrofoam prop character. By the time me and Mom went to Wegmans to get some groceries at roughly 12:30 p.m., I had already finished the first reef, styrofoam drawing, and was working on the second one. Getting to roughly coloring in the little ornaments on the reef. And we ended up, I think we initially only went in with a few items in mind. I think for milk and toilet paper. But we ended up getting quite a few more items because we had to get some supplies for the upcoming Christmas dinner at Mom's place. Although at this point, I'm not sure exactly where I'll be for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I got 2 things of sushi from Wegmans. The first of which I had shortly after getting back, after helping bring in the groceries. I ended up walking around Wegmans quite a bit. The first thing we got was some generic ibuprofen, which was my idea since Advil is simply branded ibuprofen. It helped with a mild muscle sprain I got in Rome. I figured that the foot soreness on the right foot this is the trick I use to remember left from right. It's a backwards L, so... Right. I figure it might have something to do with either muscle fatigue or muscle overexertion. Since all that walking around I did in Wegmans brought it back after it was mostly dormant over the past few days. Thing is, I'm not too sure how much the ibuprofen will help, since that's possibly just muscle overexertion rather than a muscle sprain, but it's supposed to reduce inflammation. I think that's what I read ibuprofen does. Pain relief. And for a bit, the left foot was sore to an extent. Immediately after having the sushi, after helping bring the groceries in from those reusable Wegmans bags made out of cloth. Brought them in from the garage, making several trips in the process. At some point before the trip to Wegmans, I made a trip down into the basement in an attempt to find more styrofoam. It wasn't successful, but I got to see a whole bunch of my old stuff, which I am definitely grateful for. It all, in a way, helped lead to where I am today. I brought over the styrofoam drawings for his side of the family. I went over when he picked me up, I believe roughly at 6:30 p.m. or possibly as early as 6:20 p.m. I also brought over a bunch of other stuff, such as plenty of Sharpie markers, and I emptied a plastic bag that was full of some old styrofoam pieces I think I found either in the basement or in the garage a year ago, by my recollection. And also apparently a styrofoam piece shaped like this, except it was completely blank, so that's good for that styrofoam prop character I'm planning on making to block the generic people in the background on that emergency room waiting room template. That I'm currently using to work on a new scene for that last raw video for the 99th Dan Hamming episode. I initially thought of having the other thing of sushi I got from Wegmans at 5 p.m. Then I thought of bringing it over to Dad's place to have something to... this is from some candy that people gave my dad since he's a mailman. These are the two pieces I picked out. Thought of bringing over the other piece of sushi, the Aki tuna one, to have something that would take something easy to prep for later in case I fell asleep, and potentially use that as for the today's my dinner video. Well, this piece has almonds in it. Yeah, but I ended up forgetting to bring that thing of sushi. I forgot to bring the other pack of sushi since, before packing that, I was already bringing over a bunch of other stuff. And my computer case with the handle on it, the finished holiday styrofoam drawings for Dad to give to friends and family, essentially, and a plastic bag that was full of extra clothes, Sharpie markers, an unfinished bottle of GTS kombucha, as well as a partially finished bottle of sparkling ice drink from Wegmans. This is some pretty good steak.